In this section, we are going to learn about computer languages and their categories. Computer languages. Language is a medium which is necessary in order to communicate between two entities. So in computer languages, we are going to use certain standard programming languages. A programming language is composed of a set of instructions in a language that can be understandable to a programmer and recognizable by a computer. So these computer languages are basically categorized as high-level programming language and low-level programming languages. High-level languages are something user-friendly and low-level languages are machine-friendly. And low-level languages are further categorized as the assembly language and the machine language. Let us look at into each and everything in a much more detail. Now, knowing about the machine language, the machine languages are going to contain a sequence of instructions which are directly present in the binary information, that is in zeros and ones, which a machine can understand directly. You can see the example below where all the instructions are present in zeros and ones. So if any kind of operation needs to be performed and the data items, all the things are going to be written in a translated zeros and ones itself. The machine languages are going to provide us more advantages where the CPU can understand these instructions directly and we don't need any kind of translators to explain it to the machine. And they take a very less amount of space because the instructions are directly present in which a machine can understand. However, there are so many demerits with these machine languages. They are difficult to use, that is, understanding things and writing programming codes in zeros and ones is a much more difficult for anyone else. And also the internal design of one computer to the another computer differs from one machine to another machine, like Mac computers work in different manner and Solaris machines work in a different manner. So the instructions which we write are machine dependent, and also these are error prone. For different operations that we wanted to perform, like arithmetic operations and logical operations, we have n number of operations to perform, for which we need to remember different binary codes, so which would be a much more difficult task, due to which it is very difficult to detect and remove the errors, and if any one bit of information in the instruction is changed, it is going to cause the entire disaster. So this is what about a machine language. Now let us look into something else known as assembly languages. Assembly language is going to contain all the instructions which are written in mnemonic codes. The mnemonics means the certain symbols. That is, whatever the different operations that we need to perform is going to contain the sequence of binary bits. Those binary bits in machine code are being given certain symbols which a human can recognize. So in order to perform an addition operation, we had certain symbol like ADD, add, and sub, mul, div, or any kind of logical operations like exclusive or and AND operations. So these symbols would make the human to understand and remember things much more easier. So as these symbols are user friendly and they are not understood by the machine, so we need to translate these codes, these symbolic codes, into machine code if a machine has to execute them, so for which we need certain translator known as an assembler. An assembler is a translator which is going to take the assembly code as an input and it is going to translate the assembly code into something a machine can understand, that is into binary information. The merits of this assembly language are it is much more easier to write the codes, programs to be written by the user using symbols, which is easier than writing things in machine code, and the translator will help us to convert these assembly codes into something a machine can understand. However, certain demerits are still available, as we have to develop a set of symbols, which we call it as an instruction set architecture. The instruction set architecture for one machine to another machine differs, due to which even the assembly codes are also machine dependent. And even the programmer has to know the entire logical structure of the computer. So due to which it would be very difficult to write programmings, and it is going to take more time. So it's time consuming and difficult for programming. Hope you have understood well. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.